Nation of Fitin10, welcome to day 27. If you've not booked your scan, make sure you do. www.calendly.com/Fitin10. Book your next assessment with me, please. It starts tomorrow. All right, let's go through a couple more reasons why carbohydrates are important. Dietary carbohydrates, that is, are important when you're dieting. Okay, why they are an important or fulfill an important role in your eating regime. All right, so I think we went through number 4 yesterday, but I'll just mention it again. Well, actually, let me recap. Okay, so dietary carbohydrates, thyroid health. Okay, if there's one macronutrient that's going to help with your thyroid health, it is carbohydrates. Number 2, they are protein sparing. That means they're going to let protein do its real major role. Okay, which is really acting like a building block in the human body. Okay, not just for muscle tissue, but really for all tissues. Number 3, they are, generally speaking, the most calorie-sparse foods. So we want volume, less calories. Carbohydrates are the way to go. Number 4, variety. There is a huge spectrum of different carbohydrates we can have. We've got, as I mentioned yesterday, we've got anywhere from, maybe some decent breads to other starches like oatmeal to avocados, which aren't really sweet and really just are high fat. They're sort of the exception when it comes to fruit. But then we've got things like, oranges and bananas, which are nice and sweet. So you've got a huge variety of food there, and variety makes your diet that much more sustainable, right? When you've got a variety of foods, it makes it easier, right? It makes it less monotonous. Number 6, carbohydrates do have a 6 to 8% thermic effect. So you are getting something out of it in terms of digestive cost. I mean, all foods have some digestive cost. Carbohydrates, you're getting 6 to 8%. With the exception of fiber, I got to double check, but I believe fiber is way up there. It's much, much higher than just that 6 to 8%, although I could be wrong. Definitely it's higher, okay? That's something I got to double check. So, and fiber, which will bring me to, I'll jump down to number 8 here and come back to 7. The only way you're going to get fiber is by eating carbohydrate. Well, fiber is carbohydrate. Okay, so the only way you're going to get it is through eating sources of carbohydrates. You're not going to get, fiber from meat. You're not going to get fiber from, you get it from some fat sources like nuts. But generally speaking, you're going to get it from carbohydrate-based sources. That is foods that are carbohydrate dense. Stepping back here to number 7, I may have touched upon this yesterday, but where are you going to get things like your phytonutrients? Okay, so you can get vitamins and minerals, not as bioavailable as they are in meats, but nonetheless, you're going to get some vitamins and minerals. You're going to get some of those, of course. You're going to get things like phytonutrients, which you're only going to get from carbohydrate sources, okay, plant sources. Things like resveratrol, okay, lycopene, lutein, isoflavonoids, etc. The list goes on. Okay, so make sure you get your carbohydrates. Less is not better. We want to think long term. Okay, you already have less. Even though you feel like you don't, you do. You have less. All right, so just take advantage of it. If you are full, no problem. You don't have to eat all your food. I'm not going to make you eat all your food. Okay. If I have to give you a hierarchy of what to eat, focus on that protein. Okay, that's sort of our foundation. Of course, we need to eat more than this. Next, go to fat, and then finally go to those carbohydrates. And that's not to say that carbohydrates are the least of the 3 of importance, but we want to make sure that we keep in those building blocks, and both fat and protein. Protein is more known as a building block, but fat is a building block as well, when it comes to hormones and stuff like that, nervous system, brain, etc. Okay, I'll talk about the importance of fat tomorrow. All right, questions. Let's do it. All right, this person writes, so this is under name something specific. Well, let's take a look how many resistance workouts they did. They did 3, awesome. 2 cardiovascular sessions, okay, not bad. I am spending, so this is under name something specific you can improve upon. I'm spending some days with my mom working from her house, brought my food scale, brought workout gear. We'll catch a class with Martina Tuesday morning. We'll do cardio, then lift when I'm back. Thursday morning, hockey, and then weights again Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so this is awesome. So this is planning right here. Okay, now maybe it's not set in stone, you know, the time and stuff like that would be good. Obviously, in the case of this person, they are traveling and they are, you know, they're away from home. So it does make it a little bit harder for sure. But this is, you know, at least some raw or some level of planning happening here, right? All right, name something specific you need help with. As you know, I'm making my way through some challenges. Nonetheless, I'm executing exactly what I planned to do before all this stuff came about. I am not planning to go dry for the challenge. I hadn't planned to, but had planned to drink less and drink less carby options, and that is what I'm executing. Okay, so yeah, you know, like I'm gonna try to push you guys further, but ultimately, if we can make some good changes, okay, if we can, you know, some is better than none. You've heard me probably say that before. Some is better than none for sure. And if that involves cutting back on your consumption of alcohol, this is huge. Obviously, we want to consume less sugar, less refined sugars for sure. And you know, typically when we're talking about these fruity drinks or alcoholic drinks that have different kinds of juices and stuff. Well, not really juices, really. They're sort of fake juices, typically speaking. We want to avoid that, of course. Ultimately, though, we do really want to avoid that alcohol. That alcohol really plays a part in what I believe. Well, not what I believe. It does toxify your liver, and then, you know, your liver is really the it is the engine for fat metabolism, right? And of course, if it's spending a lot of time, you know, detoxifying alcohol, etc., it has to do that, and it's got to detoxify itself as well. And it's what I believe leads to greater amounts of visceral fat. Because alcohol, listen, I know when people cut down on alcohol, there are a lot of alcoholic beverages out there that aren't really high in calories. So I don't really think it's necessarily a calorie thing. I think it's more of an alcohol thing. But that's just my personal opinion. Is there anything you'd like me to cover in this week's video series? I'm hoping to get caught up on all the videos when I'm on the ferry. All right. Awesome. Okay, let's move along here. All right, name something specific. Okay, sorry. Always jump ahead. How many resistance-based workouts? 3. How many cardiovascular sessions? 3. Awesome. Name something specific you can improve on for the following week. I clicked yes because I feel like, oh, sorry. Were you 100% compliant? Yes. I clicked yes because I feel like I stayed pretty close to my allotted calories, macros, excuse me. The choices I made could have definitely been cleaner, more nutrient dense, but I've been hitting my macro groups quite closely. Yes, you have. You've been doing great. You've been doing great. Listen, I'm gonna just on this note here, I will correct you guys. I will say, try this, do that. But I know that, you know, you guys are putting in the effort and you're really trying hard. So don't think that don't think that I don't have any appreciation for this. I do. You know, just keep trying to progress. To this person, yeah, you're doing really, really well. Name something specific you need help with. How to socialize while completing this challenge. so much time spent with family, friends, and peers is food-based. Abstaining from alcohol is pretty easy for me, but the food part is more tricky. I can stay close to my allotted calories, but the macro part is more difficult for me. All right, so I'm not sure if this is, it depends on what the setting is and how much control you have over that setting. If it's a restaurant, make a good choice, okay? If it's at home, if it's your home, well, now you have lots of control. But what you might be getting at is people are eating foods and you're not eating those foods. I don't really know, maybe I just don't have a true appreciation for this, but I don't really know how hard it is with regards to that aspect. Perhaps you want to enlighten me more as to what specifically is hard for you, right? Is it the fact that people are eating these other foods and then it's hard for you to diet because you're around those foods? Or is it more of a, I don't want to say a peer pressure thing, but it's sort of like you kind of feel left out because everybody else is kind of partaking, enjoying themselves, and you aren't. The other option here is having some influence over your friends. And this might not happen now, but it may happen in the future, especially if they see some visual fat loss on you, which they will eventually. Still early in the challenge. And then that might cause them to want to make that change. There's other things you can have here too that are, that are kind of fun to eat. Maybe not to the extent of, pizza and ice cream, but you can do things like, part of my last meal I just had was, I had squirrely bread and I put some white cheddar cheese on it and I melted it, and okay, it's maybe not that exciting, but at least it's not like, a salad, right? But you could even spice it up. You could put on, something like a tomato-based sauce and then add some things like maybe some meat to it, some vegetables, kind of make it more into pizza or whatever. You can make certain things that might be more fitting for a certain occasion or gathering. For example, there's a lot of great protein bar recipes out there, which I guess I should probably post on. That would probably be helpful to you, that you can make. So you can make like protein brownies, protein cookies, etc., which will all contain great ingredients, and you can enjoy these in a group setting. Look for drinks that are low calorie. Zero calorie pop or whatever, zero sugar pop, near caloryless pop, and other drinks. Yeah, so maybe let me know. So those are just obviously some ideas off the top of my head. Let me know what it is that you struggle with the most when it comes to a social setting. 13 minutes, message of the day. We gotta get the message of the day. On this day 27, I said it yesterday, I'm gonna say it again. You cannot find time, rather you must make time. I feel like I may have said this one, but I can't because I don't think I did. I think yesterday I said, don't call the dream, call the plan. Well, today, you gotta find the time. Excuse me, you gotta make the time, not find the time. I've had people write me and they say they don't have, I actually just read one the other day, not picking on anybody here, just saying that I read it and I see it many times, saying that they can't find time for certain things. You have to make the time. You've got to prioritize, right? Just like you make time for other things, you've got to ultimately make whatever it is that's holding you back, you're not getting done, make it more of a priority and find time for it. In the case of a resistance-based workout, it's an hour, and in a week we've got how many hours in a week? I should know this, and I don't 168, right? 160 hours in a week. We can find another hour or two in there to do it, okay? But it involves making it a priority, right? You gotta make it a priority. Okay. Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.